Welcome to Chop Talk. I know it's been a while. Sorry, life has been crazy, but I'm Spencer,
I'm Kyle.
and let's get into it. So, we've had a lot of cool things going on. We've been working on some interesting projects. We've been working on making our first event happen, but it's just been a good time. So, thank you
Yeah,
all for tuning in today.
Spencer, it's been awesome because these are things we've been planning all year, and like we're finally getting to like implement them.
Hmm.
Since we don't have a guest, I'm gonna grill you how I normally ask our questions, all of our hard questions related to swords.
That wasn't in the
If you're
script
ready.
today. That wasn't in the script today, but I will gladly roll with that because a swordsman should always be ready for anything, right?
Actually, it's not you. It's the Duelist Cup is our real guest.
Oh, fair. The Duelist Cup, you say? So
Yep.
yeah,
This
please.
It's our first big event. First one we've done is the Wandering Sword Project, and it's a steel fighting tournament. It happens in what, 3 days from now?
Yeah, 3 days. Actually, it's on the Saturday, so it's coming right up. I think that's 4 days, 3 days. Either way, it's this weekend,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be awesome. It's in the Lone Star State. It's gonna be at Dallas Warlords Duelist Academy or their Warlord Academy, where I had my first fight in Steel, or the first initial fight coming back into Steel with Brett Skinner, which was an amazing fight. It's gonna be a really good time.
that's outstanding. So for our people watching that are not familiar with steel fighting, can you go into like what kind of fights these are just a little bit to give them an idea of what it is?
Sure thing. So we are going to be hosting like so the inaugural Wandering Sword Duelist Cup. And why we first started doing this is because since after I won the national tournament and I was longsword champion in the US, we were supposed to go to Romania at this time. So we were actually supposed to oh, I look at this now like, I mean, we were supposed to be in Romania right now, getting ready to fight everybody in the world and representing the United States and whatever we were doing. But since that didn't happen because of events and all this going on, we decided, hey, Cyrus reached out to me. He's a Dallas Warlord, also the captain of the Knights of Wakanda. And he's like, want to throw a tournament and invite like the best duelists to it? And you can call it the Wandering Sword Duelist Cup. I said, yes. Yes, I do.
Did
That
you
sounds
know?
great.
How did you know I wanted to do that?
Which awesome. I'm so glad he reached out to me. He's like in a yeah, just awesome individual. And so we reached out to other steel fighters. And so, like I said, with steel, there's two big main federations. There's the IMCF, with its International Medieval Combat Federation, and there's the HMB, Historic Medieval Battles. We are going
Are
to be
they
fighting. Let's go ahead.
are they both based in Europe? Like are they European organizations?
They are
Okay.
both based in Europe. However, with the HMB, there is now an organization which is like actually in the United States. So there's HMB US organization, which is starting to
Okay.
grow.
Okay.
And same with IMCF, there's now the AMCF, which is the American Combat Medieval Federation, which I'm actually looking to try to get on the board of that. I had some people nominate me, so we're going to see. Hold your fingers.
Good luck with that, bud.
Yeah. So the big difference with those, it's like boxing federations. There's also different kind of boxing federations,
Mhm.
and the cool thing is, it's more chance to win more belts. Even though, like with myself, with my belt, that was my idea to be like, hey, let's give something to get hyped about, and also show the outside world people understand belts and titles. Um, Now, as I said, for IMCF, that is dual points. So when you punch somebody, that never counts as a point. You can do it in IMCF, and you can also kick, which I love. Kick, punch. You can't do sweeps. You're not like doing a pro fight. You're not trying to get them down.
So
Go ahead.
you can do these moves. You can punch, kick, sweep, but they don't count for points.
Yeah, well, you can punch and kick, but you can't sweep in this one. But they
Oh,
don't count
no
for point.
sweeps, no
No
sweeps.
sweeps.
Okay,
No sweeps
okay.
to the ground. But however, I still like an IMCF because the kicking and punching can wear your opponent down, and it's only sword
Mhm.
strikes that
Oh,
count.
absolutely,
And you can
absolutely.
do pommel strikes, which counts as 1 point. But in this game, you have to like it's almost like a WWE. You're like, wow, you're having to make sure it's not fake, but you're having to do this big range of motion to where if I got you up on the rail, I'm just gonna be like that. Like it may not be seen. So the people that are watching, they're like, did that count? Not sure. Because it's still
Yeah, yeah.
counted by refs.
And
Um,
that's what we talked about before is like any sport that has judges, you got to do the moves to the judge's satisfaction, not just what landed. And
yeah.
that's part of playing the game is learning that.
Exactly. So from a historical standpoint, you're like, boo, I could be super efficient and you wouldn't even know because I want to be quick. I don't want to be telegraphed. But in this one, you're like, I can still be quick, but I gotta kind of telegraph it so people can see. So that's
Yeah,
the difference
yeah.
between sports and historical. So that's IMCF. So HMB is only sword strikes or weapon strikes count, and you can't kick or punch, which is still cool. I like it. It stops away from some grappling, but I like to be able to kick somebody in the stomach or do like the Muay Thai knees or that part where it doesn't get you a point. But I did it to my friend Boris from Detroit, Michigan Fight Club, which he's an awesome guy, individual. We fought at Reno, and I kicked him in the stomach and knocked him against the wall, and he went, "Huh!" And you could hear him like literally breathe. And I was like, oh, he can't breathe right now, which things we do to our friends. And then I hit him multiple times
Like,
before
oh,
he got
this is perfect. It's my
back.
time.
So
So,
that's why I
yeah,
like it.
man,
It's gonna be cool. It's
that's
gonna be cool.
that's great. You said some of the big duelists that aren't going to get to go to the original term that was supposed to happen are going to be here. Who are some of those people?
So yours truly, which once again I'm happy. I'm gonna be Lord Longsword. We have I think about around 10 individuals fighting Longsword this time. One that I'm really looking out for is Austin Poncinelli, who's from Dallas Warlords himself. He's a big dude. I mean, you don't see many people. Well, there are more people bigger than me, but I'm not used to seeing it that often. And he's around 6'6" or 6'8", and he is just a big Texas strong boy. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. I'm actually kind of glad there aren't punches to kick this part because that's what he'd be doing all day. So it's going to be skill. But if he has a heavier weapon, which there's certain ranges that they have to stay within, if he has a heavier weapon, he's going to be doing that damage. So I hope we'll see what they has. I'm just going to hope to finesse him. My shoulder's been acting up a little bit. Not trying to be like, ugh, my shoulder's been. I've been trying to nurse it and get used to it with just that's the happen what's in sports, right? The more things we do, you're prone to injuries. This one's
Yep,
hurt yet.
absolutely.
It's not an injury yet, but that's something I'm going to be watching myself. So Austin, if you're listening, don't hit me in my shoulder.
Oh man,
But
if Austin's now like got his notebook out, he's like, only one target, Spencer's
shoulder,
shoulder.
which is
He like
fine.
in the comments, he's gonna be like asking for a friend. Which shoulder is it?
The shoulder. I'll be like, it's one of the shoulders. He's like, well, it's a 50-50. I'm just going to hit them both a lot. He wouldn't care.
That
But he's
solves
going to be
him.
amazing. There's also other individuals that some that I don't know that are great there. But then outside the longsword bracket, we are having this is international. We have the team champions or Sword and Shield women's champion from Canada coming. We have the Sword
Okay.
and Shield men's champion from Canada coming, and they're actually a couple, which is really cool. And it's the same thing for Mexico. It's like the couples that train together stay together. From Mexico, the Sword and Shield
You spend a lot of
champion.
time training. It makes sense to like double up the girlfriend time or the boyfriend time with sword fighting.
I
It's
think so. I
genius.
wouldn't be scared. I'd be like, people get competitive. Like they're like, well, I don't want to take the trash out, and they're like, fight you for it. And then you're like, so if I win and you get mad, and this could be men or women, it's not putting gender on this. Sometimes the woman will kick the dude's butt, and the dude's like, I'm gonna slope
Oh,
outside
I'm gonna
now.
have to
So
take the trash out.
yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting, but that's gonna be awesome. So we actually have two different regions coming. So it's international. Technically, if we had one more, it'd be like a world tournament. You have to have at least three or four different nations. So we'll have the United States, Canada, Mexico, and then we just have a lot of good fighters too. For the first time, I get to fight with some ACW people. So Armored Combat Worldwide. I think it's Corey Peterson. I'm sorry if names, but Corey is doing Sword and Buckler, which I'm deciding to do that as well. I know I'm getting
Oh,
ahead.
so you're not just longsword. You're gonna actually switch it up.
Well, I want to
What are you
host
thinking, man?
more. I wanted to kind of host, but everyone's like, fight, 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 fight. I'm like, but I want to host, make sure people have fun. They're like, you make sure people have fun if you fight. I'm like, fair. So there we are. So we'll have Bo Ring, who's the United States
Mhm.
Sword and Buckler champion, who's one of my mentors in the SCA
Yeah.
as well.
For our SCA friends, it's Sir Ish.
Yep. Aztec Knight. So but he's using his 14th century in this one, which would that'd be gnarly. But he's the U.S. champion right now, and this is the first time he's ever been champion, which is sad that he didn't go overseas as well. But he's talking a lot of smack, and he's like, "I'm gonna beat you in longsword and see if you're really champion." And I'm like, "I'm gonna beat you in buckler and see if you're really champion and win longsword." And he's like, "We'll have to see." The difference with buckler though is for longsword when we're doing fights, it's I believe these are one. Now I'm actually confused. I think it's 1 1 minute round or it's 1 minute and 30-second round. I'd have to look again. I always all the rule sets it confuses me. Um, and then for buckler, it's first to 5 hits though. That's what makes sword and buckler awesome because it just depends
Okay. Just
if
like
you just get
once those
5 hits,
5 hits happen, it's just done.
it's over. And
Okay. Yeah.
then
That's
yeah,
that's more like consistent with like a HEMA tournament format or
yeah,
like a counted blows in the SCA. That's pretty neat.
it's really cool. Once again, I should know more rule set, but I'm not in charge of the marshalling, so I don't have to. I'm a host. I'm the ringmaster, even though knowing rules is important. Uh, I think I don't think it's best of three, but it's anyway the first to five, and those can go really fast. So those don't necessarily tire you out. I mean, they can. I was fighting one gentle who was actually champion. I forget last time. I forget his name, but we fought at Colorado at Shoshana's event, and we tied like last hit 3 times.
Oh
So
wow,
we had to do it over and over and over. And he
real
went.
close one.
Yeah, he went to go get first, which is kind of cool. Like, at least I lost to him. But then, weird thing, I lost and I got ended up like getting fourth. So I was like, I should have been second. I mean, not really mad, but you're like, boo.
God, like yeah, that like half a second in, whatever. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
tough feeling. So speaking of Shoshana, is she our U.S. champion,
you are 100% right.
and she's
Um,
gonna fight the Mexican and the Canadian champions potentially this
there,
weekend.
That's 100% correct. And that's why it was the
That's
Duelist Cup.
awesome.
And I'm not a person, you know me. I try to be all inclusive, get everybody in there, just open up the floodgates and get as many people as we can. But at Warlords and other things, we have venues and we can only have so many people.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
had to limit it. Plus, since we're trying to do it in lieu of, or instead of Romania happening, we're like, this is a US style world champion for whoever we can get our championship. So
Mhm.
it'll be pretty cool. And Shoshana's
That's
like the GOAT, as we know. She's awesome.
that's outstanding. The other thing is we had a live stream the other day for the draws to see who's going to be in
Mhm.
the thing. You guys can, if you're interested, you can check that out. Spencer ran that the other day. Any huge takeaways from that?
Well, first of all, Larry Langanese is amazing, and he talked about like our history of the sport for steel fighting. It mostly
Mhm.
came to the United States around 2012, even though Bo Hurt's been going on longer. He was on the original teams, and he's a part of like founding fathers, if you will, of our sport. And he reached out to us, and he's the one helping to do the marshal it. He's helping us. He ran the picking things for the draw, and he had such great insight. So for you guys, really doesn't do me justice to tell all happened there. And I'm not trying to just make you go watch the video to get more views, but if you watch, it actually helps. Some of the insights he has is just really amazing. Um, but
That's great,
really,
man.
it's just nice. It's kind of
Yeah,
like NC event. We have our marshals, we have our stuff. There's just so much that goes on behind the scenes.
and it's awesome that you can like pick someone's brain that's been playing in the sport for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great, dude. Uh, I don't think I have any more questions other than why sword and buckler over sword and shield. I mean, if you're gonna leave your long sword, your primary form, why one of these ones? And
I do
like, what
Sword and
makes you
Shield
choose?
someday. I think it actually came out to us easier. I had an event. I think it's on each day. I didn't want to do all one on one day, so I could help MC because I want to MC, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I wanted to do something to split it. And two, Sword and Shield, it's just not. I want to do them all eventually once I get more of my gas and wind tank. But Buckler, I'm a gunslinger, man. I like being a cowboy. Even though we're gunslinging to be fast, but you're still covering your area. So I'm not just completely gunslinging and then like leaving myself open. But and I want to take it from Bo.
That's the real reason. I knew, dude. I knew if
Yeah,
I asked, I would like we could figure it out.
you're
Um,
right.
Man, well, good luck with that. This was one of those things that I was really looking forward to, and I'm sorry I can't come and help you like MC and organize it. But I think you're doing a great job, man.
It's gonna be awesome, bro, and you'll be missed. But there's always more things next year. This
Yep.
year's we're just barely we're not hitting the ground running. We're just slowly just kind of start to get to a jog. Next year, more stuff.
Yeah, it's not like there's a shortage of projects for me to work on. It's just like this is one I was excited about, and I'm
Not at all.
sad. I'm gonna be super sad like on Saturday when I'm tuned in, like, oh man, look at all these fights.
And honestly, if Jay, and yes, Jay Senior, I'm not calling you out and saying you're old. I'm just saying you are venerable and you've been around longer than us. And if you're doing the things like that MCing now, we can still do it when we're that same time. So we have time.
We have time when we get to the experienced people in the fighter age range.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got it.
Yep. Cool. All right. Jason, hit us with that sweet, sweet sword nerd news graphic.
All right.
Perfect.
Boom. Okay. Spencer,
Mhm.
have you seen Kenobi yet?
I am a horrible person. I have not. Granted, though, my car just exploded, and I was doing a ninja film thing the weekend before.
Nope. No excuse. Kenobi just drops out of nowhere and he says, hello there. And the whole internet loses their mind. That's the whole
Did he
show.
actually say it during the? I mean, this is a spoiler
No,
again.
man, I'm messing with you. He doesn't say
Oh
it.
man, that should have
That's
been the first
that,
thing he says. I
I
don't
know,
care.
like they should do like a whole like thing, and then Kenobi just comes out, hello there, and just embraces the memes that have spawned for the last 20 years over these silly laser sword movies.
They've got to have an homage to it sometime. It's just amazing. He's like, "Hello there." Hi.
Yeah, it's so it's happening right now. It's
Okay.
one that's going to be out every week. Those of you guys who watch this, we will always comment on Star Wars stuff. We're just nerds
Hmm.
about it. We love it. So if you have Star Wars thoughts or opinions, throw them in there because we're going to talk Kenobi whenever we can.
Do you know how
Um,
many episodes it's gonna go? Do they say already?
Six. There's two
Oh,
out, and then they're going to go up to six.
that's not
And
enough. I
it's
want more.
yeah, because like I'm like hooked on the story, and I see kind of what they're going with stuff, and I'm like I want to know more. One thing that was really cool that was unexpected
Okay.
is at the very start. You know how like TV shows would be like give you the recap of like, hey, this is what happened last season of Stranger
Mm-hmm.
Things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's no last season of Kenobi, but the last season is the prequel trilogy. And so the first
Really?
the first like 2 minutes is this awesome supercut of like all the Anakin Obi-Wan connected storyline just like
That's
cut down. And it
that's
was
sad
like
and also awesome though.
it was like I was like I'm like surprisingly like into it already. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be they're getting like if they distilled those parts of those prequel movies that were enjoyable, like you wanted to see that relationship expanded on.
Mhm.
And it seems like that's where they're going to go with it. So it was cool, man.
What would you say? Even all that was amazing coolness. What was the coolest thing? Not really spoiler heavy. That you're just like, that is awesome, and this is why I like this.
So I'm a huge fan of the monomyth. Joseph Campbell stories and Star Wars is like a perfect textbook example of taking that story, that monomyth, and going full circle with it. One of the early parts of it is the who will become the hero has to reject it. They have to
Mm.
like say they have to find reasons to say no, but then the stakes have to be so high that they say yes. That's a very
Mm.
common thing. I knew they were going to do it. Like Kenobi's not just going to be like, "Up adventure, I'm back in it," and like because we've seen the original movies.
Mhm.
So the start where it was kind of like long and it's Ewan McGregor reprising his role is actually like really well done. Like you're into it when he's saying like he's rejecting his old way. Like you see the old guy that's like kind of beat up, and they did a great job. But that was what I was hoping they would do, and they did. It was
Which is perfect because he's like,
yeah.
that was 15 years ago or something like that, wasn't it? Or maybe 10, 11, 12, like the last time the prequels came
The
out.
prequels, I think it was like 2005 or something. I want to say. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, so he's actually aged, which is
yeah,
interesting
he's
and really
like
cool.
the same age as his character would be, because the
That's
story
pretty darn
takes
cool.
place 15 or 20 years after the last prequel movie, so it's like right in there.
That's
Or
some
maybe
long con or long planning there. They're just like, we're not doing this until you're actually the age of what the
yep,
character would be.
they're on it. And I'm sure that like whatever that specific date is, somewhere William Rain's gonna be in the comments like, actually guys, this is how many years it is exactly, and 3 months.
I'm sure he'll put it in there for sure. You're actually 100% right. Wow. I just can't wait.
oh,
But I
oh,
think Silver
oh,
Adventure
five.
came out '05. Our backroom ninja told us '05, so if you do
Yep,
the
that's
math
when it is.
there, that's
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
cool.
that's all our sword nerd news for now. I'll
Oh,
probably
okay.
like, we're trying to keep this one nice and quick because we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We got to get back to it. Uh, Jason, go ahead and roll our footage for our side quests.
Side questing. Gotta get your side quest on.
Shove
As
it.
we're knights or D&D characters getting RPE.
Kim-
No, XP. RP. I want to do a little bit of both.
Every time you sing and dance randomly, it just brings joy to everyone involved.
Well, I thought thought this was like some of our cool footage. This is
that's that's actually a wonderful segue to the side quest I'm on. So we finished up. We wrapped up all of our shooting for the Udemy course a couple weeks ago with like one or two more shots here and there. Now it's just editing. It's on the editing room floor. Me and Kyler's have been just editing, going into that. We have some awesome footage, and like it looks really great, and we're starting to get like the rough cuts together. But it's a lot. Like
oh
Spencer,
god, yeah.
I when I was talking to Kyler's about it, I said, if we do one video every day, it's going to take us 43 more days.
Yep.
So like, there's just like the video course is big. There's
Yeah.
just a ton of stuff in there.
No,
Um,
it's absolutely amazing. Like thinking about editing, yeah, that's just a lot of work and it's no rush. It's like you just gotta get through it and do it right because you don't want to mess up something. You don't want to get things out of sequence
mhm,
or heaven
mhm.
forbid lose footage. So yeah,
Worst case scenario.
yeah.
Which has happened to us, audience. We've definitely had like cool videos and like lost footage.
We had
Sad
some
times.
sweet drone footage of when Kyle was at WMAW or the site for WMAW at the Coven, and it was like parallaxing trees, so like a tree's here and it just goes past, and Kyle's there looking like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then later that next day he's like, so where's the footage? So I'm like, it's it's gone, it's
Dang
not
it.
there. He's
Yeah,
like,
that
what are you
was
talking
a
about?
that was a sad point. The weekend was awesome. We had
Oh,
like a
weekend was
great
absolutely
time.
amazing.
We just didn't get to make the video we wanted out of it. And yeah, we not a repeat for Udemy. We have all of our footage. It's all safe. We're good.
It's backed up multiple places. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that includes like all the footage, by the way. Jason, would you play that video for us? So we just got that's the one I mean.
We already played it.
Oh, we already played it.
Yeah, I
Oh
was watching it.
man.
That's why I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Why is this here? What's going on? No,
Yeah,
don't play it again. Jason, don't click it again. Don't click it again. Jason,
I just
don't
wanted I just want to see it another time.
Yes.
Yes. I just want to see it a bunch of times. Dude, Spencer, we have so many videos of you dancing or you like at one point breaking into Master Splinter impressions while you give your lessons.
Oh, that's true.
Dude, like we're the whole bloopers reel is a scope edition that we're like we just have to do it. It's just we had too much fun filming this. We got to have
Because no, I gotta have those later. Like, don't I gotta tell Kyler? And yes, there's Kyle and Kyler's, which isn't confusing at
Yep.
all for
Got
us
a whole
on
team.
Kyle's. It sounds like a Bruce, the whole Monty Python Bruce. Like my name's Spencer. Like that's gonna be a problem. You're not Bruce.
Our next guy needs to be like an IT guy that's named
No,
Spencery.
Spence just goes by Spence. But I actually gotta get that footage. That'd be great TikTok, just fun footage of like Spencer says, Soto says, and just cut it, chop it. Anyway, thoughts. The Udemy course is gonna be amazing. Of course, this is one of the bigger HAMA courses. Master Demon Stith has done a lot of great things, but there's still, as far as we know, not like an actual course that you can go and learn, and then by the end of it, have your own little certificate. We're not giving you the certificate; you make your own certificate. But you can make your own certificate that said I passed this course, and that will be great to actually have it out there, and then you can give us critiques, and then you can say what worked for you, what didn't work for you. You can say it was bad or horrible, and then I can say you make your own Udemy video, and it'll be great.
No,
But
you're right though. Like that's the part that's gonna be great is once we put it out there, like we learned a lot filming, we learned a lot editing, you and I learned a lot teaching. We'll be able to make another one next time and take the feedback. So like
oh yeah,
it's all good feedback. I'm excited for all of it.
no, it's gonna be amazing. And actually, another thing to that, I can't say exactly what project I'm working on, but actually kind of broke it into big league to where a big organization reached out to Hama and wanted a few of us to actually be a part of a show, and it's actually been okay. I mean, knock on wood. Uh, so we'll be going out to New York on the 7th.
Serious.
Yes, because I mean, my next weekend. So I'm leaving for Chicago to get some of the work done before I go to Dallas, which is this weekend. Then after Dallas, I have to go to New York to film that part, and I have to go to Boston for some research for some other Hama stuff. So my car blowing up on Monday was problematic, but it'll all be fine.
All right, man. I think that's everything we've got for our chop talk today.
I think so. And of course, now we get everyone on there. We have 5 viewers now, which is, I mean, it's amazing for us because a lot of times people just watch it in their free time. So as soon as we get rolling, we're going to be like, hey, this is the end. But we want to thank our sponsors. Once again, we could not do this without our sponsors. American Iron Gym, 3 Moons Fiberworks, Asia Craft, Knights Hall, American Bowhurt, which, segue, American Bowhurt, Matt Aaron is going to be in Forged in Fire. So the blacksmith that does all the American Bowhurt stuff, he's going to be on Forged in Fire. So check that out. I think it's coming out June 1st, which is tomorrow. So
That's awesome. I watch every episode of that show.
yeah, I know, right? Oh, And Armored Combat Sports, Savvy Socks, and Medieval Extreme. And if any of you guys potentially want to support us or find out how to be sponsors, check out our Patreon, The Wandering Sword. Also check out our Instagram. Kyle's also KFP Quest, which is amazing. Mine, Simply Samurai, and of course The Wandering Sword's actual Instagram posts as well. We try to update that as much as possible, but it's hard whenever we're wandering so much. But there's some cool stuff. Hi, Patrick. I'm so sorry, Pat. I know we're about to start closing down, but it was really good. Was there anything you wanted to talk about, Pat?
It's got quick questions only.
Yeah,
In the time.
but I'm glad that people tune in. That's the hardest part about what we do, right? We're working on trying to do other formats as well. We want to do kind of a podcast. So if you guys think it's interesting, an actual true podcast where we just get all your lists and we maybe just have a thing that says ask us, just an open ask us questions, please fill that out and we will answer those questions because we love to talk about all things swords. Yeah. Well, without that, like I said, thanks everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We want to thank Kyle for coming and giving me questions about the Duelist Cup, which is going to be awesome this weekend. Oh, I know YouTube doesn't alert us all the time. I'm so sorry, but we try to do it every other Tuesday around this time. But make sure to give us a like and subscribe. I'll put in links for where the Duelist tournament is going to be live. And this has been Chalk Talk with Spencer.
Kyle.
And until next time.
Check us out on Patreon. You can even sign up to get our Season 1 exclusive t-shirt. We are grateful for your contributions, and every bit helps us bring you more content. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, but most importantly, wander on.